While you try the water, Patrick, let me introduce yourself. You are the CEO of SAUR Group. So far, we were missing a bit the voice of the corporates, so I'm very glad to have you on stage, because if you think about a pure player of water, a pure player company, I think SAUR fits to the role. Your mission is around bringing the right amount and quality of water to your customers, whether consumers like us who drink water, 20 million people drink water provided or use water provided by SAUR. You are in 25 countries, meaning also we're talking about the culture, different views on how water is seen across the different businesses, and you serve public but also corporates with all the water usages that our industries need. Welcome on stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I think it's so interesting to talk about water today. I was very surprised to see all the people so much involved with passion about water. SAUR Group, yes, we are a corporation, but I will not talk about my corporation. I will talk about how the way we look at water in the world. And I would say one thing. You know, when I started my job, my kids told me, don't do greenwashing. Greenwashing was something which was done by many companies quite recently. They told me that you need to act. You need to do something which is good for us in the future. And it's what dictates a little bit the way we think. In my team, I will call my team, they are a team of activists in a corporation. Why? Because in 2021, even 2020, we were the first one to talk about water scarcity. I think I need to give you some numbers because it's always very difficult to talk about water without numbers. 2050, 7.5 billion of people will face water scarcity. 7.5 billion. I can ask you a question. Do you know how many liters of water you need to do a Big Mac? 3,000 liters. A pair of jeans, as I have today, is between 7,000 liters to 10,000 liters. So it shows how much water is important for us and how much we need to focus on the resources, not only on the way we consume water, but on the resources and manage resources. And it's what we have done at SAUR.
You don't want to talk much about the company, but I will still ask about some of the solutions and initiatives you have implemented at SAUR to walk the talk of what you were just saying.
Yes, you're right. We need to walk the talk as a CEO. And the first thing we did and we said quite early is we need to reconcile environment and finance. We need to reconcile private equity, investment, and sustainability. And we did in 2022. We refinanced the debt of the company with green bonds. Means we took some KPIs. We engaged our financials interest rates with KPIs, environmental KPIs. And some of the KPIs were, for example, on diversity, not only on the water savings, which was key for us. We did the same last year with what we call blue bonds. We refinanced with blue bonds to be sure that we can sustain the investment on innovations to protect the main resources we have on Earth today.
When we were preparing the interview, I had also a sense, I would say, from a strategy, vision, and a mission for SAUR to move from, I don't know if you would put it that way, but a company that traditionally sold water into a company that protected the water. I think you mentioned the notion of value of water, how this value of water plays a role in the business and the activities you do today.
When we talk about the value of water, I think we need to, I will not be politically correct. Can we still clean the streets with drinking water? I ask you the questions. Can we clean streets in our countries with drinking water when countries and people are dying because they are lacking water? Just we need to change. Change now, I would say. So the key things we were convinced in our business is to look at what industries were doing and how much technology can bring on municipal water, how much technology can bring also to the countries to be able to provide new technologies. We talk about desalination, we talk about reuse the water. For example, I will give you one example. One factory for the same conglomerate in France, you cannot reuse water to clean the factory. The same factory, exactly the same, for the same, I will say, cheese. In Netherlands, you can reuse water. So when Barbara was talking about governance and harmonizations, unleashing, I will say, this strengths we have in our governance, it's something we need to move fast on that. And having an agenda, a clear agenda between politics, private, and the finance world is key today.
You mentioned technical solutions. Can you give us a few concrete examples of what kind of solutions are we talking about and what kind of solutions are you pushing and you see maybe corporates or municipalities adopting?
One key thing, for example, in our business today, we are paid on volumes. Does it make sense to be in a business when you are paid on volumes? It means the more leaks you have on your business, the more you make money. So the first things we did is to work with customers on performance-based contracts. To be sure, we are paid on water savings. We are not paid on volume, but also on water savings. It means, and I will tell you, the commitment of SAUR for 2050 is to save 500 Olympics swimming pool. So the size of 500 Olympic swimming pool, just to give you some numbers, but it's part of our KPIs. It's also having what we call mobile water solutions, a little bit what Malek was talking about. Today, it's to bring solutions during flooding, drought, to be sure that when you have issues on climate change, you can come in countries with mobile water solutions very fast. In fact, we have also technology on reuse technology. And one of the last things we did was for the real estate market, because you know today on real estate, developers were talking a lot about energy transition, energy savings. Nobody was talking about water savings. So what we did, we launched a new product. We're in partnership with Bouygues and Nexity to save 45% of what we call grey water, showers, for example, and reuse 45% of the water of the building to do something else and clean the street, not drinking water.
Thank you. These solutions, you bring them to customers. When it comes to municipalities, corporates, do you see differences in terms of awareness, in terms of adoption, and how you see the trends? Is the topic picking up?
I think we're all, when you have abundance of something, you don't count, you don't look at it, you don't preserve it. I think they were talking about culture. I think culture is changing a lot these days, and the awareness is coming. And first, I think the appointment of Barbara on such a job is something which is showing also that there is a common goal today. And the One Water Summit was also something where we start to talk about real things. What I would like for sure is to be sure that we have an agenda. I will not call it a political agenda. I'm also a political guy in my city, so easy for me to talk about it. That we don't have only a political agenda, but we have milestones to push forward and to be sure that everyone is moving one way at a country level, at a collectivities level, and also for corporates, industries. And we need also to bring to us agriculture. Today, it's something we are not addressing. Agriculture is 70%, 70% of the consumptions of the water today. And it's not regulated, it's not organized, and it's something on it which we need to tackle also on the way we look at it. Yeah.
Agriculture is a very interesting example indeed of big stakes, not very much addressed. What kind of solutions do you envision to progress on this specific area?
I'm very convinced that technology will bring a lot. Today, when we look at the fields and on the way we manage, I will say, plantation or things like that, I think we can manage water. You don't need to irrigate landfills forever. You need to control. You can control with sensors, with data. Today, we have a startup in SAUR which helps to control, I will say, the resources. So I'm convinced that with AI, in the coming years, we'll be able to provide agriculture with real technology to manage much better the way they are doing on the water side. Yeah.
One question, you mentioned your kids as one of the driver, and all the activities that SAUR is putting in place. Do you see a value in this approach and in this mission also internally? How is sustainability viewed and considered by your teams, by your employees?
Okay, so I move to the HR side of my
Yes.
job. In terms of HR, I would say that not having a social responsibility in a company today for the young generations. I was talking about my kids at the beginning because it's really reflect what's the way they are thinking. Today, the kids entering the business, they need some missions. If we don't give a mission, and that's what we call mission water on our side, it helps a lot for recruitment to keep the people and to give something else than the usual, business and salaries and things like that. The young generations, they are pushing us to change the way we manage businesses. The young generation are pushing us, CEOs, or I will say leadership, to think differently. And otherwise, they will not join us. And it's something which we show and we have seen recently more and more. And that's what we use also this generation. And we have seen here and change now a lot of young folks, a lot of talented young folks running, I will say, young startups. This is where it starts, in fact. And I hope that all what is creating here and what we're talking about today in terms of water, it's not only one summit or one, I will say, discussions. It will fly over the years, but we need a plan. Without a plan, and it's what we discussed before, it will be difficult. If we have a plan at a high level, but we need to unleash, I will say, legislations, difficulties we have to run projects to save water, especially with in some countries like our country in France, where we need 37 signatures to run one reuse project. It's something that we need to change. No, we need to change.
So it's interesting because your last remark really goes also in a sense of simplifying some of the regulations to accelerate the action. Regulation simplification nowadays can be seen in a lot of different ways. Maybe one question, you mentioned the plan, the long term, the mission. Current, let's call it geopolitical context, does it change anything? Probably not on what you do, but on how you are pushing for these topics.
I will not make a joke, but I read recently that we can measure water in showers because I saw that one guy said, make American showers great again. It's a new unit of measurement, in the world now. Maybe
and
it will
was
change.
not a joke.
It's not a joke. It was said, because in the US they were launching showers to reduce the water consumption, but now it's an open bar, so it's a little bit different way to look at it. No, I think the commitment for us is to be sure that all companies, public organizations, NGOs, organizations like Change Now, we work together. This is the key things, Don't stay in silos. As a company alone, I cannot make it. I will make it on a very small scale. We need to make it big scale, and it will be really, I will say, the return on investment, if I can talk about return on investment on water, it will come much faster. But we cannot have 7 billion people facing water scarcity in the coming 30 years, 20 years. It's not possible anymore.
Like for the previous speakers, maybe one last word, a piece of advice to the attendants on how to push forward the water agenda.
The last, it's not an advice, it's just to say be confident in what we are doing. I think we are in countries where regulation is also good for quality. It was one of the topics related by Malek, but let's move fast. Don't do politics. We need to act. We need to make it happen. Walk the talk and stop talking, I would say.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for having shared with us. Thank you, Patrick. The moment I hope you learned, I certainly did, with the people on stage. And as everyone said, let's keep the topic not even alive, but a focus for all the sustainability agendas of company and society. Thank you.